Hey gang, and welcome to a short and sweet PowerPoint lecture on how to write an abstract. Since we're all in the final stages of writing the paper, one of the last steps you have is to write the abstract. I figured the most effective way to address this point is to do so via an audio lecture. And it's definitely not because I forgot about the abstract or anything in class. What a crazy idea, you kids. So, for this little lecture, it would be a good idea to have a draft of your paper handy, as you may be identifying some points of that paper to help making an abstract all the easier. Once you've got that, we're all set and to get started. But Mr. Yao, you might be saying, what exactly is an abstract? Why, I'm so glad you've asked, student name. Think of an abstract as the little blurb on the back of a book. When you pick up the book, you'll read that little blurb to know whether or not the book's subject is something you're interested in, or if it's something you may need for whatever project you're working on. So for example, the back of the book for To Kill a Mockingbird claims that the story is about the roots of human behavior, from innocence and experience, to kindness and cruelty, to love and hatred, to humor and pathos. Well, heck fire, I'm interested in all of those things. I'll pick this book right up. Or you can think of the abstract like a movie trailer. The title of the movie alone isn't enough to tell you if it's the right genre or style for what you're interested in, but the trailer may give you a clue. Or you may see that one of your favorite actors is in the movie, so you'll definitely want to watch it now. So for another example, you've heard this new movie based on Disney's classic ride, The Jungle Cruise, is coming out, and you're thinking to yourself, what could this movie possibly be about? That ride is like super random and kind of boring. Well, when you watch the trailer, you find out it's a rip-roaring tale of adventure, suspense, shitty puns, and what? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt are in this movie? Well, I have to go see it now. And see, that's what your abstract is going to do for your paper. Your abstract is a hyper-condensed version of your paper that allows your reader to assess your content before reading the entire thing. It's a summary, a cheat sheet, a way for readers to make sure they won't waste time reading something they don't need. It's also a good plan for you to exert your ethos or authority on the topic here in the abstract, which makes it all the more clear why your readers should listen to you. As I'm sure you've noticed throughout your research for this paper, most scientific and academic sources have abstracts. You've probably even made use of some for your research. So being able to write an abstract is an important skill, as not only is it used in multiple genres of academic discourse, but it also forces you to condense your argument down and be concise with your words. And just like any genre, an abstract has a specific style of writing. An abstract is short, sweet, and to the point. It gets right to the most important aspects of the paper quickly. There's no room for flavor or personal touches in an abstract. You get to save that for your paper. Moreover, an abstract is often self-aware, meaning it can refer to itself as an essay, report, or project. Remember for that first essay when I was all like, get rid of those signposts, like in this essay I will blah. Well, an abstract is one of the few places you can use that technique effectively, so enjoy it. For a smaller work like this essay, your abstract should only be about 2 to 3 sentences long. Longer works, like full research projects, may include smaller sections, but for you guys, it should just be a couple of sentences. In your abstract, you want to be sure you include the following material. Be sure you identify your topic, and that seems obvious, but it's easy to forget that your reader hasn't already read your paper, especially since you're writing this abstract after you've written the whole thing, so it's kind of easy to forget. You'll also want to include the major points of your content. For you guys, that should be why the topic is the problem and how we're trying to fix it. Finally, be sure to include your purpose, which should be your justification for why this topic is deserving of more research. One of the main things a reader needs out of an abstract is the purpose of the project, what you're trying to argue, so be sure to include that. You may also want to briefly name drop your sources or the types of sources that you're including, since that will help you build up your ethos, which is again another major aspect of an abstract. Once you've got a handle for what an abstract does and how it works, it's time to actually string one together. Start by identifying the most important content from your first 3 paragraphs. The topic sentences of those paragraphs would be a good place to start. Try to have a single sentence from each of those 3 paragraphs. You can skip the conclusion for this. Once you've gotten that material, condense that down to about 2 to 3 sentences. Remember, your abstract must be between 50 to 75 words. I will be strict on that word count since it does count towards the total word count for the paper. And again, be sure to include the purpose of the essay. Alright, so let's take a look at an example from the Lionfish sample essay. Here are the 3 most important points from that paper. Notice these aren't copy and pasted either, they're summaries from my own paragraphs. From the intro, I've got, quote, lionfish have become a dangerous invasive species which is quickly destroying Florida reefs and will continue to do so unless more research is done. For the second paragraph, I've pulled some info from my research. Quote, researchers Albin and Hickson report how voracious lionfish are and how quickly they can reduce the population of smaller reef fish. Notice I still have that in-text citation there from my authors, so be sure to include that in your abstract if you're including your research. Finally, from my third paragraph, I have what we're doing to fix the problem. Quote, organizations such as Reef are attempting to curb the invasion by bringing in commercial fishermen to hunt the lionfish. So now that I have those 3 bits of information, I condense aspects of them down and string them together to form a quick abstract. Let's see how I did it. Quote, this essay discusses the dangerous lionfish invasion, which is quickly destroying Florida's reefs. Researchers Albin and Hickson report how voracious lionfish are and how quickly they can reduce the population of smaller reef fish. While organizations such as Reef are attempting to curb the invasion through commercial hunting, more research must be done to find a permanent solution. So you'll see I made a few changes from my 3 listed points. For one, I condensed the first and third points down some and put my purpose at the very end of the abstract, kind of like a thesis statement. But do notice I kept the second point almost exactly from my summary, so you'll have to consider what works best for you and your project. This particular abstract is 59 words long, so almost right on the money for what it needs to be, so keep that brevity in mind. And that's all there is to an abstract. If you work one up and already have had your conference, feel free to email me the abstract and I'll take a look at it. If you haven't had your conference yet, we will discuss them then. Finally, the abstract goes on its own page, after the title page and before the essay itself, so your abstract should be page 2 of the final document. Looking forward to seeing everyone's finished projects. Good luck on those abstracts.